Hi, my name is Cody Frayne, and I play drums for Ascent Like Wolves, and this is our craziest tour story. So I'd have to say it would probably be any of our shows that we played in China, just because it's really wild over there compared to what we're used to in the United States, to say the least. But one that comes to my mind particularly is our first show on our 2018 tour in Beijing at this venue called Temple Bar. A little backstory about that, like I said, it was our first day, so it was a 13 and a half plane ride to get over there. So with that, it's always pretty wild experience because you're basically like jumping ahead into the future half a day, which crazy, but yeah. So we were incredibly jet lagged, and then we ended up meeting up with our tour manager Stan from Hot Pop Music. Awesome guy, awesome company. And he basically tells us that he's a surprise for us before we start everything. We're just kind of like, what's this going to be? So we end up getting in the equivalent of like a Chinese taxi or Uber. We go to the Great Wall of China, which was a crazy experience. But yeah, so we're very, very tired already. It's insanely hot out at Beijing at this time of year, and the Great Wall of China, all this, just a bunch of climate steps. They're about like a foot to like 2.5 feet apart. I'm 5'4", so basically doing some like crazy stair climber exercises, sweating my butt off this whole time. But anyway, incredible experience, loved it, beautiful. But then while we're like super far in the Great Wall, Stan just like, oh shit, we have to leave right now. We have to get to the venue. I've lost track of time, so we're like rushing to get to the venue. We have to check in for the hotel first. We check in. Stan tells us we have like 15 minutes to get all of our belongings and stuff and our stuff situated to go to the venue. So we're all like panicking, like trying to make sure our gear works, nothing got broken during the flight, and trying to find all of our merch that's like placed all throughout our suitcases. So we end up getting all that stuff done. Then he tells us we have a mile walk to the venue. So we're carrying all of our merch and all of our gear to this venue. We end up getting there, insanely tired. Then we have like to immediately get our stuff ready for sound check because we're pretty late. Of course, my samples don't work. So eventually, through a bunch of stressful times, I end up getting that fixed and getting a new cable from the sound guy, and then we're good to play. We sound check, everything's going well. Then there's actually 2 local bands on this show, which is pretty interesting because when we're in China, we never really get to play with any local bands. It's normally just one band per show, and you play for an hour. Normally people just like show up right before it starts and leaves right away. It's like a really wild thing, but anyway, it was really cool to see some of the local bands from Beijing. After the first one plays, I go to the bathroom outside, which a bathroom in China is essentially like a hole in the ground or like a community trough that you have to pee in with a bunch of other people. There's like no dividers for the most part. It's just kind of, you just get it out of you, you know? But anyway, so I do my business and I hear this huge commotion. So I start looking around and I just see that there's a group of people like all gathered together, and there's like seriously the most brutal fight I have ever witnessed. You got this one guy just straight up just beating the shit out of this guy and like bashing his head on the ground. Then you got these 2 Chinese police officers who are just beating both of them with batons, which I would actually call them staffs, like something like Raiden from Mortal Kombat would use. Basically trying to break up the fight, and it's just like lots of screaming and yelling, and yeah, anyway, I was just kind of like, you know what, I gotta get back in the venue. I want nothing to do with this. So I go back in the venue. It's about time for us to play, so we get on stage, start playing. The crowd's going crazy. At this point, there's a free show at a 300 cap venue, so it ended up like selling out. So there's a completely packed. The energy's great. People are like jumping off the stage. Then we get like 2.5 songs in, and the police come storming in and shut the entire show down because apparently that guy, one of the guys who was in the fight, ended up sneaking into the venue to try and hide from the police into the crowd. So they end up finding him and violently throwing him out. And then at this point, we kind of thought we were done for the night. Then we end up just saying like, fuck it, we're gonna start playing again. So we start playing again, get through about 1.5 songs again, and then the guy escapes and ends up coming back into the venue. And yeah, so then the police come storming in again, same thing. The whole vibe of the show is pretty off at this point, but anyway, they end up getting him out, and at this point we were pretty much told we can't really play anymore. It's the night. So like a half hour goes by, nobody really left the venue. It's kind of just like this weird like almost after party thing going on. Then the bartender comes up, or an owner, and says like, you know, there's a lot of people here still. They really want you to play, so you guys should finish your set. So we end up finishing our set, absolutely crushing it. Such an awesome like first show experience for us. Vibes really good. Everybody was loving it. And then after the show, the bartender asked us to hang out for an after party with them. So we were like, you know, we're already here, might as well. It's like maybe like 1 o'clock in the morning at this point. We've been up for about a day and a half, I'd say. So yeah, we started like keep getting beers slinged to us, and people are talking to us. The owner was actually American, so it was pretty nice to kind of talk to like someone from home right away. Lots of interesting people at this bar, all from different countries, and all very intoxicated and just like fucked up on whatever whatever they were on, you know. But one guy that sticks out to me was this giant German man, very sweaty, and just a white wife beater, and he just kept like hitting on all of the band members. It was awful. It was just ridiculous and weird, and like we kept getting away from him, and he kept coming up to us, like, you know, dancing around us and stuff. And eventually we just kind of looked at Stan and our tour manager, and we were just kind of like, you know, we gotta get out of here. Let's go get some food somewhere or something. So he asked us what we want, and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning at this point, and he also lets us know that we have to go to a train station in the next 3.5 hours so we can get to the next venue, which is like hours away on a train ride. So we ended up just going to a McDonald's and getting some comfort food. We're all like a little tipsy at this point, and then we basically get like an hour of sleep at the hotel, and then go on a crazy bullet train for like 5.5 hours. Yeah, get to the next venue and basically start everything over again and let the wackiness of China pursue. Honestly, any day that we played in China was probably one of my most ridiculous tour experiences. But yeah, I can't wait to go back there. Crazy times, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, I would like to thank Digital Tour Bus for having me share this, and please check out our new album, Mystic Auras, coming out February 19th via Weird Triumphant. But thanks again, and appreciate it.